Mole, I'm gonna ask you to reveal yourself by taking a step forward.
To say I'm shocked by the winner, it's an understatement. To say I'm shocked is an understatement. Kudos to my viewer who was able to sort of decipher that Sean was the mole. I would never have been able to say it. I think this last challenge is the one where I actually was able to see clues, because I always thought he was too obvious and his acting was so terrible he couldn't be the mole, when actually this was his plan all along. This was his plan, to sort of play the dumb dad who didn't know what he was doing, and people would throw suspicion of him because they wouldn't think the mole would be that obvious as to play right in their faces. And I really wanted my girl Muna to win. I really wanted to win. I thought she was the mole. I'm really sad she didn't get that chance to win. Hopefully someone gives her something, because she put a lot of money in the pot, and for her to not get it is sad. Anyway, I digress. Hey there, thanks for stopping by. It's Valerie. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. Click the like button, turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos, and definitely leave a comment. In this episode, I'll be reviewing The Mole Season 2, Episode 10. I'm so nervous. I'll do my intro later, so obviously by the time I do the intro, I'll know who the mole is. But you have the final three, and I think of the final three, the only person... well, Sean, I did suspect him at some point, so I can't say he wasn't a suspect. Everyone on the list is my suspect. I remember Muna from day one. I've always said I suspect Muna because of the way she's moved in the sort of show, in the sense that she has been trying to sort of look for validation from someone. I said this before, that she appeared as though she kept looking for validation from someone, whether it was the producers or whoever was to the side. Someone was sort of signaling her on what to do, and this is why I thought she was a suspect. And because she's very religious, people wouldn't expect her to be a mole, and I think this is something she could hide under. And the fact that she kept talking about her family, that they are refugees, they could do with the money, so people would be less likely to suspect that she would want to waste so much money. Michael, what do I think? I think Michael is a suspect in the sense, not because of the stories he's told, but because of the things he's done. On day one in the mud, he said he was slipping. He was able to explode that money. He dropped the artifacts, and he also dropped the first aid box. So Michael, to me, is more suspicious because you can actually pinpoint actions that he's taken that have sabotaged the group, including the fact that he saw Sean take out a picture and didn't say anything and kept quiet because I don't know why. Best known to him. So that's why he's my suspect. And then with Sean, the reason why he's a suspect is because he says he was an undercover cop. Why would he go on international TV? Because Netflix is international. It's not just in the USA. Why would you go on international TV and declare that I was an undercover cop? Because all the people that he worked with on undercover cases are going to see him, and they're going to realize that he actually played them, and he could get himself in a lot of trouble, especially if it was very dangerous people. So I don't buy that story. One, he says he's a stay-at-home dad. Okay, fine. I think it's just an ordinary cop. I don't think he's undercover. I think it's a story that he made up because his acting is terrible. His acting is terrible. You can actually tell when he's lying and when he's not. So I don't buy that he's an undercover cop. So he's a suspect as well. If I were to rank them, I would still have Muna as number one, Michael number two, because he's had so many issues that we've seen, and then Sean would be my number three suspect. And so for me, it's mainly between Muna and Michael. Those are my two suspects. Those are the two people that I think might be the mole. Hopefully, I am right. So when they get to the challenge, Ari is there. He explains the challenge. So there are some sort of, it looks like playing chess or checkers. So they have these little tops that are aligned, and one grid is in a grid. So one grid is worth 10,000. That's the first zone. The second zone is worth 15,000, and the third zone is worth 25,000. But what is going to happen is, if you don't follow the map, because it's a memory map, so they show you the map for 20-30 seconds, and then you have to remember it, memorize it, and sort of go around. If you're able to clear the grid, then you get the money. If you don't clear the grid, the money explodes. So Muna, wanting to save the money, decides to go for the 25k at the end, and she says, I don't trust these two people. One of them is the mole, and I would rather go last and actually save that money for myself. So Sean eventually agrees to go first because he says his memory is bad. Michael goes second, and Sean, I don't know what game Sean thinks he's playing. If he is the mole, then amazing. Because at the end of the day, he says he's got a great memory, but he's been sabotaging, obviously, all along, because he says at the end of the day, I want people to put suspicion on me. That way they can leave the show, and then I end up winning the money because my suspect is Michael. And it's like, if your suspect was Michael, why then have you not won? Why have you not outed him all along? I don't get it. And right at the last one, you hear Michael sort of shout, diagonal. Michael sabotaged that. And Sean held on to that and went with it, and the money exploded. And Muna was upset because it didn't make sense, because she told him go straight ahead, and he decided to listen to Michael, which makes me believe that Michael is the mole. Michael is the mole. Because why would he say diagonal out of the blue when Muna is telling him, no, it's not diagonal, it's straight? Michael has been making these small mistakes and then taking the money from the pot, whereas Sean has been very obvious, so I believe Michael is the mole. On zone 2, you have Michael. And Michael and Sean have been playing cat and mouse throughout the whole season, as far as I'm concerned. One has been sabotaging the group just for the sake of it. The other one has been sabotaging because he's the mole. And my money is Michael is the mole. I am sticking to it, and I'm with it, because they show them the map. Sean says his memory is very good. He actually played them in the first zone because he wanted to throw suspicion on him. And Michael gets all the way through right to the very end, and he's told you need to go diagonal left, and he insists no, diagonal right, and they said no, diagonal left. And then suddenly he takes a step, and then he pretends to look shocked, and the money explodes. And it's like, why is he doing this? I don't remember. Does the mole get all the money that they lost, or what is it? I don't get it. I think so, because why would someone be sabotaging the group and taking all that money away? It doesn't make sense, because they've already lost more than they have. Well, more or less, they were supposed to get a total of 50,000, so they've lost half the money they could have won. And it's like, why? Why would you be so obvious? And Muna is now confused. I think she needs to stick with Michael. Everybody said Michael. She needs to stick with Michael. Muna is the last one to go, and she said she didn't trust these people and she wanted to make it obvious. And now I am conflicting myself. I know I've been putting my money on Muna all along, and I had questions about Sean. So Muna memorized the map, and then she said, don't tell me unless I ask you. And I think she was she said she was trying to suss out the mole, and she was able to. The mole is Sean. The mole is Sean. The story about the undercover cop is a lie. It's a lie, Your Honor. It's a lie. The fact that he tried to get Muna to take the wrong step, and it took Michael saying, no, go this way. So that automatically eliminates Muna and Michael for me. And Sean is the mole. And Sean has been sort of making these strategic moves and saying, oh, I want to throw people off, when he was actually the mole. He was pretending to be a bad actor, very, very sort of difficult to hide things when he is the mole. He is the mole, and we've all seen it. And I can't wait really for everyone else to sort of realize that Sean was the mole. So they're able to bank 25,000, which is amazing, and Muna is ecstatic. So she gets to carry the money according to the boys, and now it's time for the grand finale. The final three meet up with Ari, and everybody is asked, why do you think you should win, blah, 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 blah. Muna has obviously been consistent that her mother came to the US as a refugee, and she fled her country at 24. And she's the same age that her mother was when she fled her country. And so this would be amazing for her to give back to her mother because of the sacrifices that her mother made for her. And it's like, oh, that's a very sweet story. Michael obviously is talking about his mom died when he was 13. He was raised by his dad, and as a gay man, it's amazing to have a supportive family behind you. So he wants to do something for his dad, pay off his student loans, and also he wants to be able to, buy a home. And so I get that. with Sean, I'm not buying it because Sean says he was an undercover cop who sort of retired so that his wife could become a dental hygienist. And it's like, how much do they make? Okay, maybe they make more than cops, but still, I don't buy what Sean is selling, especially after the move he tried to make when he tried to convince Muna to take the wrong step. For me, it's becoming more and more blatantly obvious that Sean is the mole because Sean has been able to sort of have this sub story and get away with sort of deceiving people without them realizing that he's deceiving them. And I think his background story is just a sub story that he's telling so that he gets what he wants. Anyway, you have all the past participants reunite and everyone is surprised to see who's there and, you know, who made it how far. And it's good to see Q and everybody else. Everybody's wondering what happened to Hannah. Did Hannah, you know, is she the mole? And Tony's questioning, is Hannah the mole? Because he had a situationship with Hannah, so he's worried that, you know, she took him out and she might have been the mole, only for her to arrive and everyone is happy when she arrives. And so it's interesting. I wonder how they're going to feel when they find out, because everybody wants to know who is the mole. Everybody is going to be shocked, I think, when they find out it's Sean. My money's on Sean. My money is on Sean. I'm willing to bet my money is on Sean. Please, I already owe someone who said I owe them for whoever the mole is. I can't wait to see the big reveal. So the top three come down the stairs and it's revealed, you know, who is the mole. The mole is revealed to be Sean. Yay! Surprise, surprise. It's really surprising. I guess Michael was a good game player because he wanted to throw people off and everybody suspected him. So they went home. And everybody's shocked that, you know, Sean is the mole. They can't believe that he's the mole. How did he get away with it? But then if you look at his story and what he says he did for a living, it doesn't make sense that he would be so easy to tell that he's lying to you. That doesn't make sense. So I'm not surprised that, you know, a lot of people didn't catch up on that because his acting was bad, and I think this is how he sort of hid, in the sense that his acting was so bad that people could see him and just think, oh, you know, he's putting on an act, he can't be that obvious, when he was the actual mole, which means that Muna and Michael are the final two, and they have to reveal, you know, who passed the quiz. And I really wanted Muna to win because for someone who suspected her for so long, I really wanted her to win, and turns out she was 2 marks off the win. So Michael wins the 154,000. And it's like, oh my God. I love the fact that she got to the finale, but I'm sad that she didn't get the win. She could have done with the win. Hopefully Michael gives her even just 10,000 just to say thanks for putting money into the pot, because she really worked hard to put money into the pot. So I really hope someone just rewards her with just a little token for her efforts, for always putting money in the pot. Everybody's surprised that Sean is the mole. Most of them didn't suspect him because they thought he was just a stay-at-home dad. He was just a police officer, and turns out he was an undercover DEA cop, or he dealt with drugs and narcotics, and so he really was amongst the worst of the worst criminals, and so he was able to play everyone in their faces because he's been trained for this, according to him. So hey, it is what it is. Wow, watching how Sean managed to sort of manipulate every situation is shocking, because I remember things like when they were building the raft, how he kept breaking it with his leg by stomping on it, and I was thinking, these things, it's not like you stomp on piece and it falls off. The crack will sort of run along the rest of the bamboo. What is he doing? So to see how he was able to sabotage the group, and to hear him talk about the fact that he doesn't have any fear of heights, everyone was taken aback. Even Nish was shocked because they all underestimated him, and this is why you should never judge a book by its cover. He did a good job. It was a great season, and there were a lot of players that you were able to throw suspicion to, that it was going to be difficult for someone to know who the mole is and who's not the mole. And I think Michael, maybe partly the reason why he won is because he was able to throw suspicion on him, and people were sent home because of the things they saw him do, because they just assumed that, Sean was a ditzy sort of, stay-at-home dad who didn't know anything. And sadly, he played them. I loved the season. I hope there's a season 3. Thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe, and click the link in my video to watch my review from episode 9. Bye guys.